All right, Harris to go.
A big hello to everyone. On today's official European League of Football show, I am welcoming the Tirol Raiders with head coach Kevin Herron and quarterback Shelton. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
I am looking forward to getting to know you and the Raiders a bit better today before the European League of Football starts into its second season. But honestly, I don't think I need to introduce the Raiders. Founded in 1992, the team has become one of the most successful American football franchises in Europe. And having you in the European League of Football now is fantastic. So welcome.
Well, we're glad to be part of it.
Yeah, thank you.
And honestly, everyone seems to be so excited to see how you are going to compete against the other teams. What are you looking forward to the most?
Actually, we're also excited. There's always been a long talk about, German football and Austrian football, and they're, both leagues or countries are built a little bit differently. The German teams are a little bit bigger, a little bit older, more seasoned. One could say also a little bit stronger. Austrian football is a little bit more faster in the gameplay. So it'll be interesting how that matches up. And yeah, we're excited for that matchup. All guys are hyped and ready to go.
What about you, Sean?
No, I agree. It's a unique dynamic going into a season where I guess you can really say 10 of the 12 matchups, and even with the Vikings, it's not going to be the same as it has been for the last 7 years for me, and over a decade for Kev. They're going to have a different team too. So really, like, we're going into a 12-game season not knowing what to expect in any single game, and not really having experience with most opponents that we're playing, even their coaching staffs or whatever, which makes it extremely exciting. I think we were dying for something new. Our fan base, our players, our coaching staff, and our organization were looking for a new challenge, and for this to come along, even for me personally, I was very content with stopping my career after the Austrian Bowl last year, and now it's like, well, I think I'm going to regret not doing this, because it is every week going to be a challenge and going to be a big game, and the greatest collection of talent in Europe in one league, and no, I think everybody's thrilled to see what the season brings.
Yeah, and what made you join the ELF as the franchise, Kevin?
I think that's exactly that, right? We always try to generate new challenges for the club and try to offer the fans something new, right? We used to have that Battle for Tirol format. We would just bring in a European top team to play against to see, where do we stand in Europe. And I think, in general, new is good. And hopefully that will bring our even more fans into the stadium. And yeah, just, we pride ourselves trying to take on the biggest challenges. And this is the biggest one available in Europe. So here we are.
So how did you perceive the league in its first year? And why didn't you join straight from the beginning?
I think, when everything was on, starting to build and manifest, it was a little bit too late for us. We had to make a decision whether or not we were going to commit to the AFL and stay in the Austrian Football League or not. And things weren't set in stone to an extent where we were like, okay, we're going to make that commitment. So that's why we didn't join from the get-go. But obviously we, watched it from afar and liked what we saw. The product on the field looks great. And like we're saying, it's great competition. It's, a sum of all of the great best players in Europe. And we want to take on that challenge and compete in that.
Sean, what about you? How did you and your teammates follow up on season one?
Well, I think a lot of my teammates followed it much more closely than I did, to be honest. For me, it was kind of during our season, you kind of just get locked into what you're doing, and then by the end of our season, you kind of want nothing to do with football. But the one thing I did notice, on top of everything that Coach Kev said, is the coverage of the sport was just phenomenal in comparison to the other national leagues within Europe, and it really does its justice in terms of social media coverage and exposure for the athletes, the individuals, and these individual storylines, like a true professional league would. And I think that was very noticeable, even for me, who wasn't paying very much attention to it, but in the world of European American football, obviously. And so although I didn't watch many games, I felt in tune to what was going on because of this exposure and coverage. And now after the season, I've been able to catch up and watch a few more games, obviously. But there's a lot of talent on the field, and that's something we're excited about. And I think we're excited to see if we can match the talent and maybe exceed it, and see what the outcomes come from that.
And what was the feedback like from the fans when they heard that you are joining the ELF? Kevin?
I think they were all excited. I mean, everyone that I've encountered at least is, how's the team looking? And are we up for the challenge? And like I said, this new thing is creating a great buzz. And I think it's going to show in the first game, the first home game.
So what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for you as the head coach this upcoming summer?
A little bit like Sean said, right? I mean, we're facing new opponents, new players, new coaches that we haven't faced before. Everything was familiar so far in AFL.
Exactly, yeah.
You knew exactly what you were going to get from teams. The coaching staffs hadn't changed much. The players hadn't changed much. So you pretty went into the season knowing exactly what you needed to do, how you would match up and so forth. This is now all new. It's a lot of watching game film, tracking which players now where, and just a completely new challenge, which makes it all exciting, right? It's I mean, I can't find another word. We're constantly repeating it, but no, it's kind of, you got to put in that grind now, and it's going to be demanding, but it's going to be great at the same time.
Yeah. And there's quite a number of talented players out on the fields now. Sean, from a quarterback's perspective, is there anything you can add? What's going to be the biggest challenge for you? What do you think?
Probably consistency. In the Austrian Football League, there was a disparity of talent amongst some teams. There was very much a tier system, and some of the top teams and the bottom teams, there was obviously a talent disparity on the field. So you didn't have to bring your A game on those days. You always tried, but over the course, like Kev talked about earlier, the Raiders always played a very aggressive schedule, and 16, 17 game seasons with international play in colleges and so on and so forth. But not every game you had to bring your A game, although you always tried, and you could get away with it. And I don't know if that's going to be the case in this league. I think we have to bring playoff caliber execution, particularly on the offense side of the ball, for a 12-game regular season, and then see where we end up. There's no guarantees, obviously, and I think that's really hard to do. I think that's really challenging to do, particularly at the quarterback position. So that'll be my goal this year, just week in and week out, consistently high level production and performances.
Yeah. And Kevin, tell us something about you. You became the head coach of the Raiders in 2019, but you had your first season played in 2021 due to COVID. You joined the team in 2011. What's your football story? Because I heard that you were linked to the Raiders in the NFL as well, somehow.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I had like a little, let's say, vacation there, right? No, my football story is, I mean, I'm half American, so I'm an Army brat. My dad was in the Army, and I actually didn't start playing organized football until here in Germany, when we lived here in Germany for the Munich Cowboys. And shortly thereafter, I got into coaching the youth and fell in love with coaching. And yeah, I've been coaching for over 20 years now. Coached GFL, GFL2 here in the Austrian League. Was fortunate enough to have a lot of great coaches as mentors. Was able to do some internships in the U.S. with Florida State and Wyoming, College of Wyoming, and 211 after a couple of years in the GFL. Was able to come to Innsbruck, fell in love with Innsbruck. My wife fell in love with Innsbruck, so that we actually moved here. And been always doing football more or less as a second full-time job, like a lot of coaches in Europe. And then 2019 got the opportunity to make it a full-time deal and become the head coach here. And very fortunate that the Raiders put their trust in me and gave me this opportunity. And been loving it. Innsbruck is a great place. This is a great organization, very professional organization, and football is done the right way here. So it's been a blast.
And what would you say? What has been the key to your success for so many years now?
The key is hard work. I think everybody here in this organization. Doesn't matter if it's the board or the front office, the coaches or the players, they all understand what it takes to win and understand what grind it is and what work it is. And we've always focused on developing football players, and winning happens naturally if you take care of that. And so, the club has always invested a lot of money in coaching. And that just shows, it just trickles down. And, we have a great youth program. And so we can always sustain success. And that's, I would say, is the biggest key, that everybody works hard here and grinds and, knows what it takes to be successful. And,
You've proven and shown that you're doing it the right way, that's for sure. And one advantage that you have over the other teams is the gentleman here with us. Sean, you've been with the team since 2015, and ever since you have collected some impressive numbers. Not only are you a 5-time AFL champ with nearly uncountable MVP awards, in those years, you threw for nearly 30,000 yards, 325 touchdowns, and you had only 50 interceptions. I mean, yes, please. What's your plan for the European League of Football now?
Yeah, to do all that in one season, just double those stats in 1 year. That would be phenomenal. No, I appreciate the kind words, but I think things can be misleading, and to purely look at numbers. I've had a very fortunate year. The thing I'm most proud of is the five Austrian championships and the couple of European, the CEFL titles we were able to obtain. But to be honest, I was at the right place at the right time, and I came here at the perfect moment. These guys were building momentum through 2012, 13. Was super close to winning the championship in 14. One player or two goes the right way, and they win the title, and the Raiders win the title of the Austrian Bowl in 2014. So I got here at the perfect time, perfect momentum, and then just tried not to screw it up a lot of times in the early years, and kind of came into my own and started really playing good football around 18 and 19. And I think the continuity factor is almost unheard of in Europe. To have a young man come here, fall in love with the city, fall in love with a person and my wife, and fall in love with an organization, have such a great marriage for a long time. Doesn't happen very often, and that pays dividends for a lot of things, and probably why those numbers are so inflated. It's just a continuity thing and a longevity thing, and that's always the struggle. Like Kev talked about, sustaining success within the club, sustaining success amongst, as a player too, is also a challenge, and kind of feeds into what I talked about earlier in terms of being as consistent as possible, because it is a high bar and it is high expectations, none higher than the ones I put on myself. And it'll be fun to try to continue to be that successful amongst higher competition.
And how would you describe yourself as a quarterback and as the leader of the team overall? What would you say are your top priorities on the field?
Well, and Coach Kev can probably attest to this. As a quarterback, I think I'm a fullback still. And I still think I'm this 8-year-old Mike Allstott, who is my idol in Tampa Bay, running the ball at least. But as a quarterback, it's just I pride myself in putting other people in position to succeed, whether that's checking into a run or being heavily involved in the run game planning, or being able to put receivers in it, being very efficiently putting them in positions to succeed. And that's, efficiency is my main goal as a quarterback. And I want to be 70% completion percentage or higher. I want to have, a 7, 8, 9 yard pass per attempt or yards per attempt average. Those are really high bars. And that's what I pride myself on, and being able to take what the defense gives me and really be patient. And as a team leader, I don't know. I think I'm still finding it. Not that I'm not comfortable as a leader, but it changes. She was tired of my answer. She was like, "I gotta get rid of this guy." Did she disappear for you too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But we're still live, so maybe this is a good opportunity. The Raiders Tirol season tickets were on sale today. Check them out at Raiders Tirol __ football on Instagram to get your season tickets today. I think they're only €80.
I got kicked out.
It's a 35% discount. Well, it was a perfect time for my season ticket ad.
I don't know what happened. Was it just me, or were you guys frozen?
No, we were good. I think the answer was just so boring.
Honestly, that's what I thought while I was like backstage. Like, no, I hope he doesn't think that his story was tiring me out.
But to try to summarize it, I'm typically not a very vocal leader, but at times last year, with influx of new players, I think the older I get, the more vocal I become. But it's just try to be there consistently and show up to work like everybody else. And when you do that, I think people fall not necessarily in line, but get onto the same page. And and that's all I try to do. I'm a piece of the puzzle, maybe a little bit bigger than some pieces, but nevertheless a piece of the puzzle.
So let's take a closer look at the other pieces of this puzzle. Kevin, how far along are your preparations for the upcoming season? You re-signed most of your players. Tell us something about your guys.
Well, I mean, we basically have the whole team back from last year, and who knows Austrian football, we're pretty much restricted in what we can get outside of Austria, right? We were only allowed 2 imports the last couple of years. So what's new is, bringing more additions to the team, and, and really cherry picking where we need to improve. And we've have done a good job with that so far. And yeah, we're practicing right now twice a week.
Some of us.
Well, yeah, unfortunately not everyone can practice. But yeah, no, we're in full go. We're still in off-season mode, so it's nothing too crazy. But in the end, it's all about fundamentals and doing the little things right. So that's what we're working on now, and we'll have a little bit of a break in April and just focus on more athletic stuff. And yeah, and then in May when we get everybody here, it's a full go. And I got my coaching staff already here, so we're already cooking up the playbooks and getting adjusted to these new special teams rules. And it's good. It's these last couple of months, the office was very scarce because we only have 3 full-time coaches during the off season only. But now we have the full staff here, and it's life back in the office, and it's a lot of football talk and a lot of high level conversations. I'm enjoying it. It's back to what I'm used to.
So compared to the past years in the AFL, does this off season feel different for you?
Yeah, it's much longer, right? I mean, normally like our AFL team now, right? They're preparing for the AFL season that starts in 3 weeks. So normally we would already have our first training camp done and would have 2 more on the way over the weekend. And instead of that, we're kind of still in that off-season fundamental mode. And due to the fact that our season was done end of July, we've had 2 more months to prepare than, the other ELF teams that played last year. So it's been very long, and you notice that the guys are, somewhat, they want to go now. But it's kind of like, put on the brakes. We still have almost, 2.5 months. So it's kind of trying to put the brakes on them and not go too fast, but still go fast enough that we're efficient and we can get the rust off and have that preparation that we need. But it's going very well. And like we were saying, right, the guys are excited. They come to work every practice, and they're getting better every practice. And it's good to be back on the field.
Yeah. What about you, Sean, from a player's perspective? Does it feel any different to start into this new league, or are you just hyped and excited to get out on the field and play again?
I'm hyped and excited to get back on the field again. I'm standing on the sideline at the moment. So it's just one of those regulation things where I'm personally even more eager because most of the guys are able to perform in practice where I'm still in spectator mode. So I'm chomping at the bits a little bit, especially like Kev said, we have this all returning roster with fortifications from the outside, basically. So I have some new toys and that I haven't been able to open the box yet, kind of. So I'm very much looking forward to May and very much looking forward to joining the team. And I think the rest of the guys, like Coach Kev was saying, was just, all right, can we fast forward 2 months, because we're ready to go.
Yes. And tell me something about your stadium, because I heard that it's one of the nicest ones that we have in this league.
Not one of the
nicest.
The most beautiful stadium in Europe to play American football.
Yeah. I haven't been. I can't wait. I can't wait to go.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm 100% biased, but I'm not sure it's close. It is a gorgeous stadium with a gorgeous backdrop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much of a party are your fans celebrating there? How would you describe them?
Great.
Wild and noisy. That's what we want in a football stadium.
When they're supposed to be. That's one thing I appreciate is, I think they're a very educated fan group or fan base because, when the offense is on the field, we could have 4,000 or 5,000 people in the stands and they know when to be quiet and what's going on. And it's when a big play happens, you hear the roar of the crowd in Tivoli because it's a bit, it's closed off and there's a bit of an echo and it's the best.
It is. No, we have great fans and they've been very loyal throughout the years now. It's kind of a tradition and that's the nice thing about Innsbruck being so small. It's all so personal and you go down the street and coach, how's next week going to be and how's the team looking? And, they're truly involved in what we do. And that's just a beautiful thing. And then on the weekend, they show up and support us. And it's awesome. It's in the Austrian Bowl. Actually, last year, we were able to play on the other side of the fan, so we could actually see the fans while we play, because normally they're behind us. And that was awesome. That was a
It was pretty cool, wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, but also they had a lot of good reasons to be happy and to celebrate and cheer for you. So let's take a closer look at this upcoming summer, and let's see how much of a party the Raiders fans are going to have. You are in the Central Conference together with the Vikings, Galaxy, and the Surge. And in week 1, you will be starting into the European League of Football on June the 5th at home against your toughest opponent from the past, the Vienna Vikings. So it's a new league, but old faces. Are you pleased to be starting off against them?
Pleased is a strong word. I would say it is what it is. No, I mean, in the end, we have to play everybody. And like Sean said before, it's all going to be challenging this year. I don't think you're going to have to be able to have an off game. But to start with the Vikings, have that Austrian rival game at the beginning at home is just, we're hoping that we're going to have full house and the full support and just kick the season off the right way.
Yes. Maybe, Sean, another time for you to bring out the advertisement for the tickets.
Yeah, if anybody didn't hear me earlier, ELF season tickets are on sale now at Raiders Tirol _football. That's a habit I need to break. No, you see the slate. I mean, you're going to get 6 really, really good games of football, starting with the first one. I expect nothing but a very, very high level of football. And of course we play first. I think before this plan was announced, I talked to Kev. We were talking in the office and it was like, hey, I bet. And of course it seemed to be the only fitting that we start each other's ELF careers.
Yes.
Off.
Oh, yes. Well, and then week 2, you are traveling to the Cologne Centurions, one of the European League of Football playoff participants from year 1. And it's the first time that you are playing against one of the old ELF teams. So how much are you looking forward to this day? Kevin, both.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it because Frank Roser, their head coach, is a very good friend of mine.
Yes.
I used to actually coach Frankie as he was a youth quarterback.
He told me, yeah.
I was his head coach. So we have a lot of history together, and that's going to be a treat, especially going to Cologne. And then that's one of the other things is we're finally going to travel to different cities and see different stadiums and different fans and so no, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to. No problem. That's what I think what I'm looking forward to, and what a lot of guys are looking forward to, is just a new experience. It's not only a new opponent, but it's a new trip. You don't see the same signs. You don't drive through the same. I mean, when we play away games, we drive east, and it just depends on when we stop. It's the same road always, besides maybe Gotts, and so to have new experiences, new trips, new stadiums, new cities, and new opponents. I could say the same thing about the next 5 opponents. It's going to be really,
do you always
really cool.
travel by bus? Do you always travel? Will you travel to all the games by bus, or are you going to fly to Berlin, for example?
Well, I fly private to every single game, so I don't know what the rest.
Well, that's the ELF, right? No, because for example, at the last episode, the Frankfurt Galaxy, they shared a funny bus story. Like they had once they had problems with the AC. So did anything ever happen on your trips?
Appropriate for this wonderful publication or broadcast. No, but honestly, on a more serious note, I love the bus rides, and I prefer the bus. And in the AFL, it was kind of a mixture. Sometimes we lean more buses as of lately, but we took trains as well because again, we're just headed to Vienna most times. But the bus rides, I can say I thoroughly look forward to. Last year, I caught up on a lot of sleep, and when I was awake, you just have like the coolest conversations because it's easier to move around than in a train, and I find the camaraderie is a lot better. So actually on away trips, I look forward to the bus rides just as much as maybe the game, you know.
And for sure, there's a lot of bonding happening on those rides as well.
Too much sometimes.
Well, week 3, Berlin is coming to you. And I think it's going to be a tough one again because they look good this year. Or they are doing their homework for season 2. Do you think they are going to be a team that you can beat?
Well, we hope so.
That's the plan.
Exactly. No, I think pretty much everyone can beat everyone.
Yes.
I think it just comes to that day, right? What kind of performance are you going to put onto the field that day? And because if we meet 10 times, I bet it'll turn out 5-5, right? So with a lot of teams in this league, clear there are favorites, but yeah, I'm expecting closer games this year just due to the competition, and looking at what Berlin did roster wise, they're going to have a competitive team, and for me the challenge is winning that coaching battle, and that's going to be the interesting part because we've never played against those coaches, so it's going to come down to game day adjustments, and that's going to be the challenge, but that's the exciting part of it.
And then in week 4, Sean, you are going to travel again to Stuttgart this time.
Not too far.
What do you expect from there, from them?
We played in Stuttgart once, but obviously that was the Scorpions and the GFL. So, the trip may be more familiar than some of these others, but the team is completely unfamiliar, and by this time, I think week 4, with 3 games under everybody's belts, you have a better idea of who is where and what, and some tendency things. And so that's right around the point where it might become more comfortable. But, at this point, it's really difficult to say. It's really difficult to say. And, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but
trust me, I sound the same because I'm just so excited.
It's difficult, It's like I said, I could repeat myself for every single opponent. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I don't know what to expect, but I'm open for the challenge.
Yeah. And then in week 5, the Frankfurt Galaxy, the defending ELF champion, is coming to Austria. You are the AFL champ from 2021. Is this matchup going to be explosive?
Well, it better be. It better be. I think, this is going to be one of those really, really head-to-head, close games, that hopefully, ends with a game-winning field goal for us, right? But I think this is going to be a game that our fans can really, really get hyped about, and get excited for. And I'm glad that they're coming to our house first before we see them again.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have that home game advantage on our end for that one.
And I mean, neither you nor the Galaxy are basically used to lose games. So it's going to be a tough one. I hope I'm going to be there when this matchup is going to take place. And then week number 6, the Leipzig Kings. This could be a huge surprise as well.
Well, yes. I mean, they've done a great job in the offseason recruiting and building their roster. They have AJ Ventland, who was with us last year. So he'll have some insider information for them. But no, it's again, like any other team in this league, it's going to be competitive. And that's why we joined the league. There's not going to be a team that we just brush over. And but we're ready for that. We're expecting that, and yeah, this is again. By then, we'll see where they're at and where we're at, and see how competitive it truly will be. But again, I think the whole season is going to be very competitive. And then with all the factors, how healthy are you by that point? I mean, 6 games in a row is very tiresome. That's going to show how well you can grind and how much are you already in the bye week, right? That's going to be a factor.
Yeah, and this was actually the question I wanted to ask now. Looking into week 7, your first bye week, Sean, from a player's perspective again, after 6 tough games in a row, how much is that needed?
Oh, it's 100% vital. From a strategic standpoint, you've played everybody once, you're going to repeat the schedule, not in the same order, but opponents wise. You can kind of take a step back for the first time and go like Coach Giff said, where are we at? What are we doing? Either positive or negative. What do we need to improve on? And it's probably going to be the first time everybody can kind of self-reflect, because I imagine those first 6 weeks are just going to be a whirlwind. And then on a personal or a private, standpoint for the players, you just put your feet up a bit. For me, and I know from the coaches, Coach Kevin, Coach Kyle, and Coach Ball, be around your family a little bit more than you have been in the last few weeks, and just unwind for a couple days before you start the home stretch. And so having those little breaks of the intensity is absolutely vital.
Yeah. And then, as you said, it repeats again, and for sure you will have learned your lessons during the first 6 weeks. Then it's Vienna again, Leipzig again, Surge, Centurions, Galaxy, Thunder. Looking at the schedule, are you missing a team that in your regular season schedule that you would have loved to play against? Kevin?
That's a good question. There's a lot of teams I would like to play against. Like Hamburg, of course. They're creating a great roster, and to see, just to see where are we truly at, right? And it'll be interesting, by week 11, who are the top teams and, who are going to be those playoff contenders. But Hamburg, Warclaw, we've had them in the past, but they're completely different in the ELF. Very interesting team. The players obviously would have loved to have away games in Istanbul and Barcelona.
Oh, yeah.
Disappointed that we didn't get that, right?
A bunch of German cities. What are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. For you will be traveling between Austria and Germany.
Yeah, it's a tour of northern Germany. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, Sean, you need to continue another year then, and maybe the schedule is going to be different.
Yeah, I mean, from what I was told by the head honcho, that we're going to have an extended break around week 10. So a week 9 away game in Barcelona next year, if we can pull some strings, see what we can do. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That's all I'm saying. Maybe a bit better than at Leipzig in the middle of August.
Noted. So, do you see
maybe
the
Mallorca
Tirol
can
Raiders?
get a team?
Do you think you're going to make it to the playoffs?
That's the goal. I mean, the goal. I mean, like Sean was saying, like this organization has high expectations, and that doesn't change with the ELF. The challenge is just bigger and greater, but the goal always stays the same, and that's to make it to the championship game. Getting that opportunity to win a championship. That is the goal and has always been the goal and will always be the goal. And is it a high set goal? Yes. Will it be a challenge? Yes. But we're going to do everything in our power to achieve that.
And in your opinion, who will be the other 3 contenders in the playoffs? Who are you going to face?
I'll give that to Sean.
Let me put all the teams up there, close my eyes, and throw a dart. I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of good teams. Obviously, you have your favorites if you look from last year, but in a league like this, how much continuity is there from year to year? How much can a team improve the roster from a year to year basis? It's almost impossible to tell. I'm sure Hamburg is going to be up there. In our conference, any four of these teams could make it. We'll see which Stuttgart has, but I know Vienna is going to be good, and obviously Frankfurt's good. And then Rhein-Fire is probably going to be good. Istanbul is probably going to be good. Barcelona is probably going to be good. I mean, who knows? It's gonna come down to, in my opinion, I know I keep saying this, is consistency week in and week out, but also I think it's going to be a battle of attrition with a lot of teams. How deep are teams? How much injuries do they get? The battle of staying healthy and motivated through such a grinding schedule is going to be interesting to see as well, because maybe even at the midway point you really don't know. Teams might fall off, teams might surge at the end. No pun intended with Stuttgart. We'll see. We'll see come end of August who's playing the best football and who's done the best job. And do we think we're going to be there? I think it's more of a belief. We have a process at the Raiders that we believe to work and has worked, and we've shown proof of concept, and we just need to be able to stick by those philosophies and principles even in a new environment. And I think if we're able to do those things, only good things will come.
Yeah. And the championship game will take place in Austria. Is that a sign, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, it's familiar territory for us. We've been pretty successful in that stadium. I think we're 2-1 in that stadium. So, and it's a great advertisement for Austrian tourism. I mean, what a beautiful place to have a championship game.
Yeah. So, like we all said, we are hyped. We are excited. We cannot wait for summer 2022 to start. Guys, thank you so very much for being on the show, for giving us all the insights on the Raiders. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. I didn't realize we were supposed to put our last names.
Oh, no, you don't. You didn't have to.
Well, now I'm just like everybody else here. How do you do this?
That's totally fine.
And if you want to get your season tickets.
Exactly. That's what I just wanted to say.
If you want to get the Raiders Tirol season tickets, go find us at Raiders Tirol _football on Instagram for all the information.
Yes,
80 euros. 35%
What
off.
a bargain. What a bargain.
You heard your quarterback. Go and get your tickets. I want to see you there cheering for the Raiders, coming to all the away games as well. And then maybe if you are lucky, you can even get your tickets for the championship game. Well, you can get those tickets, but maybe you will be able to support the Raiders there as well in September. Best of luck to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone at home for watching. See you very soon.
All right, Harris to go.